Somewhere between $7 and $10 billion. That's what it could cost just to buy your way into the NBA as a brand new team. And right now, nobody actually knows if NBA expansion is really happening. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what has to happen before Seattle and Las Vegas can actually become real NBA cities. And there's a twist coming that has nothing to do with money at all. Let's start with the basics. Seattle used to have an NBA team. The Sonics left back in 2008, and Seattle fans have been waiting for a new team ever since. But Las Vegas has never had an NBA team, although it does already host the NBA Summer League every single year. It also hosts the NBA Cup Championship game too. So, in a lot of ways, Las Vegas is already acting like an NBA city, just without an actual team wearing its name. Both cities want an NBA team badly, and earlier this year, the NBA finally made a real move. The NBA's Board of Governors, the group made up of all 30 current team owners, voted unanimously to formally explore adding both Seattle and Las Vegas as brand new NBA teams. That sounds like a final yes, but it really isn't. Here's the part almost nobody explains clearly. This entire expansion process actually needs 2 separate votes from the 30 NBA team owners, not just one, which is dumb as fudge. The first vote just gives the league permission to explore the idea, to go look at the numbers, meet with potential new owners, and figure out if adding 2 new teams even makes financial sense. That first vote already happened, and it wasn't even close. Every single owner in the room voted yes just to start looking into it. The second vote is the real one. That's the vote that actually finalizes everything. The one that decides if Seattle and Las Vegas really get their own NBA teams. That vote hasn't happened yet. And here's the number that matters most in this entire story. To pass, either one of those 2 votes needs 23 out of the 30 NBA team owners to say yes. Not a simple majority, 23 votes specifically. Shout out LeBron here, but anyway, every single time either vote happens, that's a really high bar to clear, and it means even if most NBA owners want expansion to happen, the whole plan can still fail if enough owners say no. So the NBA brought in outside help. The league hired an investment bank just to study the finances, evaluate potential new owners, and check whether the arena plans and the expansion money actually make sense. Even with all of that already in motion, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver himself won't guarantee that expansion is actually going to happen. In his own words, there is absolutely a chance NBA expansion doesn't happen at all. It's possible the league expands to just 1 city instead of 2. Maybe both cities get a team, or maybe neither city does. Let that sink in. The man in charge of this entire decision refuses to promise that Seattle and Las Vegas will actually get NBA teams. So why the hesitation from some NBA team owners? Earlier this year, reports surfaced that a small handful of owners, maybe 2 or 3 out of the 30 total, had real concerns about the money involved. Adding 2 more NBA teams means splitting the league's national television money more ways among more teams. Every current owner's individual slice of that television money gets a little smaller every single year for as long as the league stays at that larger size. That's a real concern. It's not made up. But here's the twist. By the time this year's NBA Summer League rolled around in Las Vegas just a few months later, the tone around expansion had completely changed. Commissioner Silver sounded genuinely excited about NBA expansion. Multiple serious ownership groups were actively pitching their expansion plans to the league's own investment bankers for both Seattle and Las Vegas. Silver specifically said the level of interest from potential owners was, quote, very encouraging. There was no mention of hesitant owners this time. No mention of the money concerns from earlier in the year either. Just real momentum moving forward. So the real story here isn't really about greedy NBA owners blocking a good idea anymore. It's about an expansion process that's actually working its way toward a real final decision, one step at a time. But there's still one piece of this entire expansion story that most NBA fans have never even thought about. If the Seattle team and the Las Vegas team both actually join the NBA, they would both land in the Western Conference specifically. And that creates a real structural problem. Suddenly, the Western Conference would have more teams than the Eastern Conference. To fix that imbalance, one current NBA team already in the Western Conference would have to switch over to the Eastern Conference entirely. So which Western team is getting tossed to the other side like an adopted child? According to reporting from inside the NBA, league executives are expecting either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Memphis Grizzlies to be the team that makes that conference switch. Think about that for a second. A team that did absolutely nothing wrong, a team that has zero say in any of this expansion decision, might end up playing an entirely different set of opponents on an entirely different schedule for years to come, all because of a decision happening in 2 completely different cities. Reports suggest the NBA is leaning toward moving the Minnesota Timberwolves specifically. It's not actually about the map either. If you look at an actual globe, Minnesota sits slightly farther west than Memphis does. But travel time is about more than just straight lines on a map. The Minnesota Timberwolves' current Western Conference opponents are spread out across huge travel distances, while the Memphis Grizzlies already sit closer to a tighter cluster of other NBA teams. So the NBA is reportedly leaning toward whichever move actually saves the most total travel time for players, not whichever team simply looks more eastern on a map. Nothing about that conference realignment is decided yet either. It all depends on whether NBA expansion even happens in the first place. So here's exactly where the NBA expansion process actually stands right now today. The first vote to explore expansion already passed. The investment bankers are already involved in doing their evaluations. Multiple ownership groups are already actively competing for both the Seattle team and the Las Vegas team. The momentum toward expansion is real. But the second vote, the one that actually finalizes everything, still has not happened. 23 votes from NBA owners are still needed to make it official, and Commissioner Silver himself still won't promise a final yes. Somewhere between $7 and $10 billion is sitting on the table right now. An entire NBA team, through no fault of its own, might switch conferences because of this expansion decision. And after everything that's happened so far, the NBA's own owners still might end up voting no when it actually counts. So will NBA expansion to Seattle and Las Vegas actually happen by the end of this year? Or is this just another chapter in an expansion story that's been dragging on for years already? You tell me.